Hey, Chapel here, and today's video is going to be revisiting the Daggers. After already being somewhat of a believer in them as a weapon, it turns out after coming back with a much more optimized setup that they're actually a lot better than I expected. There were a few big mistakes in the stat choices of the previous build, and after ironing these out, the potential damage of this weapon is much higher than I initially thought. So let's look at the changes. Now at first glance it might not look too different from before. After all, it's the same spells, the same blood types, the same armor and the same amulet. However, with the changes in this setup, the stats actually look drastically different, and this makes a huge difference. The blood type is swapped from Rogue 3 to Rogue 1, the elixir goes from Elixir of the Prowler to Elixir of the Raven, and Flowing Sorcery gets changed to Lethal Strikes in the passives. Lastly, the Illusion Coating swapped out for Storm Coating. Now the principle behind the old set was not running crit chance and instead running the guaranteed crit after dash, and then putting a lot of points into Veil cooldown rate to make it available as often as possible. Now while this does give you more mobility and gave you a few leftover points to put into things such as spell cooldown rate, the amount of times you'd actually be getting value from crits was very low, and even then you were far from being able to max out crit power. This new set sacrifices some of that mobility and investments into random other stats to keep you critting often and much harder. To bring the crit stats all the way to their cap, you also need a Wraith Blades that has max Fizz power, Fizz crit chance, and Fizz crit damage. One of the great parts about this setup being a solo weapon set is that getting BIS stats on your Daggers alone will put you at your full potential earlier than almost any other physical build can. The final optimization is Storm Coating over Illusion Coating. There's more than enough stuff in the kit to be able to reach max Phantasm just with spells alone, and with how many tools Dagger has to multi-hit, you get a lot more damage from static procs. Outside of this build being optimized a lot more, Daggers as a weapon is also looking like a very good solution into the current meta. Turns out when people are running double counter, having a 300 plus damage nuke that hits through counters is pretty valuable to have. Dagger Q, whilst being an amazing answer to defensives, is also great versus other popular meta staples such as Void and Frost builds, giving you a low cooldown iframe that can be used to avoid their damage, whilst also trading your own damage back. The main bad matchup Daggers has, out of the common meta spells, is Frost Barrier, because it doesn't do your health bar any favours throwing a fully charged primary attack or a well stacked E into a Frost Barrier without being able to dodge the attacks afterwards. But overall, I think Daggers can be played into any matchup and in any content. Its massive DPS and constant iframes also make it perfect for PvE, and while the weapon does a great job in duels, you can get even more value from Curse in team fights when it can also apply to teammates' damage. Alright, that's all from me today guys. If you want to try the build, there's a link in the description showing you all the details of what you need. I hope you enjoy giving this a go, and have a good day. I'll see ya.